Egg and Krypton are collaborating for a new Vocaloid mobile rhythm game called Project Sekai Colourful Stage. Under normal circumstances, I would be very happy about this. It looks very polished, they've worked together before, the gameplay looks like fun, the characters are cute, it's a license I already like, but... There are some pretty blatant drawbacks right off the bat that, despite all of these good points, aren't exactly making me as excited for this game as I am for D4DJ. The most obvious to bring up in a what were they thinking manner is that the title will confuse search results, being close to visual novel licensing company Sekai Project, but honestly, that's the least of its problems. The biggest complaint I can see about this is the cast list. Vocaloid fans have long lamented the public perception being like so. The general public might be aware of Hatsune Miku. She's a pop culture icon, a corporate spokesperson, a Minecraft meme that led to her being credited for all kinds of works where people want to keep loving the art but disown the artist, and the subject of way too many alarmist news articles about the downfall of music. Move a step down, and the general anime viewing public knows a few more Vocaloids, the other ones that were developed by Krypton. And then after this small handful of characters, we go all the way down here to all these other Vocaloids who do exist, and most of them were distributed by Krypton even if they didn't develop them themselves, but no one outside of the hardcore Vocaloid fanbase knows who they are. We don't see Eeyore or Sonica selling pizza. So you would think, then, that a marketing tool like a mobile gacha game, which are well known for sprawling casts of characters, would take this opportunity to acquaint its players with all the lesser-known Vocaloids out there, get them to fall in love with the characters. From a cynical point of view, re-release or update the discontinued software once the characters were out in the public eye again. Give the neglected ones love, and the opportunity to merchandise them will follow. It's a good idea all around, right? But no, this is not what they did. No, the story of this mobage has a normal human girl discover Miku, be completely in awe of her, get isekai'd with a magical smartphone app, and get to be Miku's friend. This is a long-standing ploy of marketing executives that most people really, really hate. Taking a franchise people come to for the fantastical non-human characters, declaring that the audience needs a lead it can relate to, and shoving a human in the lead. The only time I've ever seen this work was in Kemono Friends. Usually, the characters fall flat because they're designed to be as bland as possible so as to be an audience self-insert. And maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, because it looks like they did take a look at the reception of this sort of thing and say, hey, people hate those characters, what do we do? Make them more interesting? Unfortunately, the reply seems to have been, sure, but have you considered this? Have 20 of them! I am not kidding. Rather than negotiate for the rights to characters from software Krypton distributed but didn't develop, Egg threw together 20 original human characters and tossed them into the game. Great cost-cutting measure there. But surely this judgment isn't fair to these new human characters, and maybe it's not. I appreciate the inherent message in their inclusion, saying that Vocaloid inspires human creators and it would be nothing without the community of real people making art with and about the technology. I will admit that the character design is good and fits well with the existing cast. In fact, it almost looks a little too familiar. Okay, I'll stop beating around the bush. It's Bandori. The new characters are divided into bands with the same aesthetics and similar roles as the Bandori girls, representing different producers, but take one look at that. It's just Bandori. Look, pastel palettes just swapped their hair colors around and now Miku's with them. Look, it's Afterglow with boys in it, and also Miku. The Leonid character designs are the worst for this. They look almost exactly like characters from Bang Dream. If you look at the short PV that was released for the game, the similarities just continue. There's the chibi overworld. There are the live 2D story mode sprites. There's the rhythm gameplay. It's just Bandori. The weirdest part is, Vocaloid has had 2 Bandori collabs, and Egg helps make the mobile game. This is just them looking at what Bushiroad's taking from Bandori for D4DJ and deciding to do the same thing, but instead of making something new with a little inspiration from the previous work, wholesale ripping it off. And you know I don't make knockoff accusations lightly. We've had Vocaloid in Bandori twice already. Nobody liked story mode in Project Diva X. Who is this for? I'm not saying Project Sekai Colourful Stage is going to be a bad mobage. It'll probably be a very good one, if only because it's ripping off a very good one and it's made by people who know what they're doing. The characters are appealing, the gameplay looks fun, but it all just seems a little pointless. This is Secret Identity Studio, and I'm going back to Love Live School Idol Festival.